So, welcome to Bring Out Your Geeks, Talking Walking Comics. We're doing issues 40 and 41 today.
Yes, we are, because that's what I prepared for.
You're prepared.
I'm prepared.
I'm so
Yes, I am.
proud. That's not like ringing affirmative.
Forward. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Rockin'. So, just a quick review at the end of 39. Laura gave birth.
Yes, the gene pool continues.
The shallow end of the gene pool continues.
Yes.
No, maybe, I don't know. Maybe not on Rick's end, but...
Yeah, but I think you're kind of... It's not like an average process. I think if there's a low depth to the gene pool, it becomes dominant.
Yeah. The cover's kind of awesome, I have to say, for 40.
Bloody Rick.
It is. It's just his face, and it's all spattered with blood. Sort of not gory, but just dark.
And his how would you depict his expression on that cover? It's not like fear.
No. It's not anger.
No.
It's not boredom. It's not happy. It's just...
It's like he's watching a mime, is what I'm thinking.
Oh God, are we back to the mime jokes?
We gotta guess. It's mime joke. It's been like an episode of the show or two, to be clear, and multiple issues since I've talked about that. Like to show off that I can make the distinction between episode and issue.
Yeah, we didn't get much of a reprieve, but all right.
No.
So, yeah, basically the beginning of it is sort of, oh, it's a baby. And then Andrea bursts into wherever Lori gave birth, the infirmary, I suppose. And she's got Dale with her because Dale has been bit.
Yes.
When he was siphoning gas.
With Billy. Useless Billy. So yeah, and he's been bit, and we all know how you deal with that situation.
Well, I wrote down part of this too because this was, I think, probably my favorite bit out of both issues is you see Alice holding the saw and she's like, I'm not ready for this, and then Rick snatches it from her and he's like, well, then you can clean up afterwards.
Yeah, which so in the comic, this is leg number 2 for Rick, and with Alan, Mopey Allen was the other one.
Yes.
And then, of course, in the television series, Herschel is the Dale proxy, I guess.
Right.
Or Herschel was the proxy for several people in the TV show. But here he's the proxy for Dale. So Rick's got 3 legs to his credit across the 2 mediums. Pretty impressive.
That is true. And he does a botched job of all of them. None of them are neat, clean, swift removals. They're all...
I would say that this one is better. I mean, it's a low bar.
They didn't write in any sound effects, but it was still 4 panels long.
Yeah. A big...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course... Alice couldn't do it. Rick did it, and that kind of finishes up. And then, of course, Lori, with her strong dedication to the group, decides she wants to name the baby Judith.
And I love that too because Dale is like passed out. I mean, he's out cold. The man is unconscious, and he's got half of his leg has been taken off, and it's still sitting there, this bloody stump, on the cot next to him, and she's like, I think I'll call her Judith.
I know it. Yeah. But I think, from now on, the Lori voice should be like, I think I'll call her Judith. Just because
horns come out and...
Yeah. Horrible, horrible thing. That even if obvious, I mean, if she came up with the name then, she could have just waited. It just didn't seem like... No.
No. I mean, and it's, yeah. I mean, he's got a bloody stumped appendage, and she's got a baby, and she's just like, and I'm not saying that, people who give birth don't deserve attention. I'm just saying the man just had his leg sawed off. You can hold 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, at least she didn't name the baby Sandal or something like that. So,
but she's like, pay attention to me.
That's right. He's taking my day away.
She just makes me twitch.
Yes, not a fan.
She does. She just makes me crazy. All right, yeah. So she names the kid Judith, and we find out actually that the truck that they stole from the National Guard depot was not a Hummer, although it looked like it in the previous trade. It was not. It was actually like some type of cargo vehicle. So there's a massive back end. So they actually took more than I think we were initially led to believe.
Yeah, I think
before they blew it up.
Right. They cleaned. I mean, they obviously couldn't get it all, and I still think strategically unwise to blow it up. But
agreed.
I mean, you could have hidden this other stuff or something, but yeah, they brought back a pretty good haul because they kind of think they may need it.
Right.
And
go ahead.
Well, then I think we kind of get to the point where so Dale, who already has image issues, I'm too old for Andrea, blah blah blah. Now it's even further, and he's mopey, but he's like, yes, give me in the wheelchair, but she brings him some crutches.
Oh, that's you, man. You skipped lots.
Oh, I did?
You did.
All right. Well, we'll get to that. Spoiler. Before that.
Well, Andrea wakes him up and reads him the riot act for being dumb and old. Basically, like, you're an old man. What are you doing running around a parking lot siphoning gas with zombies? You should be more careful. She gets really angry. And Carl and Rick put the crib together. They bond.
Well, I'm sorry I skipped over that.
I know. And then Carl's like, so when do I get to meet it? He's like, I told you it's a her. It's a she. You have a sister.
Her name's
Like
Judith.
Carl's talking about like it's a puppy.
Yeah, when you're that age. So what is Carl, Comic Carl, around this time? I
don't know. He's got to be 7 or 8, I would think.
Yeah.
Ish. They don't ever, I don't think they say ever.
Yeah, I don't think we get a strong read, but within the next year of so let's say he's 8. We'll be generous here. I think that's pretty generous for 8. His time between years 8 and 9 are event filled, to say the least. So.
Right.
But yeah,
So then he gets to meet his sister. Fantastic. And then we cut to a really super exciting garden scene. The highlight of which is Billy compares August to hell, and Herschel basically tells him not to trivialize the lake of fire.
That's right. We see the beginning of a pickup of the Herschel Language Patrol.
Yeah.
And he will not have his children, and this is so he. The mere mention of the lake of hell lake of fire was not received well by Herschel.
Yeah, lake of fire. Gets real upset. And this, I think, is where we start to see him also coming closer to the version that is in the television show, because he's a little mouthy and not so holy roller in the comic. On the show, he tends to be a little more biblical in nature, some of the things that he discusses and stuff, and we don't see a whole lot of that. So I think this is starting to sort of more align with what's in the show.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I gotta say, my least favorite part of 40 is Lori feeding the baby on a regular basis.
Yeah.
No,
can't say
that back.
Oh.
Mostly naked Dale is my least favorite part, followed very closely by Lori feeding the baby.
I will support those as number 1 and number 2, without a doubt.
Like, can we just get a little fan service for the ladies, please? Is it really that much to ask? We have to see Dale naked? Not necessary at all. But so now she brings him crutches.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
Blech.
Oh, sorry we missed them talking in the garden. Jeans, my bad.
I know.
What
I
was
know.
I thinking about? So I'm going to let you take cadence. I'm going to color commentate in so that
Take the easy way out.
I make choices. I make wrong choices. So we'll go through.
So I'm gonna. No, you don't have to make wrong choices. I was just saying.
I know.
Yeah. So Carol gets even weirder, as if that's actually
possible.
And there's some target practice that takes place outside, and then there's like a moment. It looks like there's a moment kind of shared between Tyrese and Andrea where they're like laughing, and it's kind of benign, but you can tell Dale is like kind of getting jealous and crappity about it.
Yeah, but true. But did not trying to piece this together. Did we get a Rick? My note says Rick shaved. Did Rick shave in this episode? Or
Not yet. 41.
41. So that's a bad note on my part.
Issue. It's an issue.
Did I say episode again?
Yes.
Gosh. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to sit here. Can you tell me the story of The Walking Dead? I'll just, I liked that. Yeah. Boy, my notes got a little worried. Okay. I'm a little worried. Okay, I'm going to just have to be honest with you here. Rick and Glenn in the shower, 40 or 41?
They shave in 41.
Okay.
So I think that's the
When do Rick and Glenn discuss marriage?
In 41. It's that
Okay.
it's that scene right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So this is actually that was the end of 40. So 41 starts and the cover of that is it's another one of those faux covers where it's not actually something that happens in the issue itself, but it's interesting. And it's Rick at the fence with a walker that looks an awful lot like Lori.
Yep. You were led to believe.
Sides of the fence, sort of, yeah.
Lori or a member of Guns N' Roses. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a little hard to tell. But yeah, they're kind of nose to nose, face to face with the fence in between. Kind of a neat layout of the cover. Was a neat layout. So I hope you can't hear that.
I hear a cat.
Yeah. It's a large fat cat that's wanting to contribute to the show.
Excellent.
Go away, large fat cat. Sorry, my apologies. Wow, he's got things to say today.
So there's more like continued Dale jealousy, and then Dale and Andrea have a riveting conversation about tomatoes. She refers to him as an old man, and he gets upset.
Yes. He's sensitive these days.
Yes. Well, and I suppose rightfully so. He sort of feels like feeling the loss of his leg, and I suppose waiting for the other shoe to drop to some degree.
Good one.
Oh, wow. That was bad, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Oh
my God.
I hope Dale's not listening.
No, God.
Wow.
Eat my shoe. I didn't mean it that way. All right. If I could just be pelted with things, that would be helpful at this point. So where did I leave off with that? Oh yeah. So more Maggie and Glenn being rabbits playing basketball.
Yes.
As we like to say on the show.
Yes. There's a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
It's confusing because there's actual basketball in some of these scenes too.
Basketball.
So we gotta have basketball.
The euphemism of basketball. Yes.
Yes.
And then I had to mention this because it's obviously one of my little irritating points is they make a point of having a discussion between Andrea and Alice where Andrea has made prison jorts.
Jumpsuit shorts. Yes.
for
Big
Alice.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come back
great.
again. As I got to that section, I knew, boy, I bet you Jean's is just beaming right now. She had lacked an update for a while on the clothing.
I know. Shocking lack of walkers. More jorts. Great. And then Carol basically kind of starts to go off the deep end and having conversations about, like, sort of, what if I'm not here? Would you take care of Sophia, I guess?
Yeah, she's got that going on. This is as we treasure the Laurie Carroll story time. Anytime they
I
get a
know.
chance to visit, it's special.
Riveting conversations.
So in this issue, you get both a clothing update. Isn't that amazing? Learn from my mistakes. You get a clothing update and Laurie Carroll time. So this one's going up on the wall, framed. This is like just the perfect one for you. But somewhere in the conversation, we get a few more movie name drops.
Yes, we do.
We get Ghostbusters and Spies Like Us.
To add to the list. Kindergarten Cop and
Turner and Hooch.
Exactly.
So there's a theme. I personally believe Spies Like Us was an underrated film. Pretty fun. Had its moments for sure. But
it's a good flick. Although I'd have to lean towards Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
I think Ghostbusters.
Yes, yeah, collectively. But there were some nice moments in Spies Like Us. So.
Yeah.
But we don't get to see any of that.
No, we don't. No, we get to we get to see Carol basically attack Billy.
How old are you?
How old are you? Are you jailbait? Good. You're not. Let's go.
She asks him mid-dive, and she's actually in the air. How old are you? I think if he had said 6, it wouldn't have really mattered.
No, she was on her way. I don't think she would have cared.
And so. Billy,
and there's actual basketball happening while there's basketball happening.
Basketball, yes. Indoor and outdoor. So.
Euphemism and not.
Yes. And that was because as the Laurie Carroll Dance of Word Death finished up, Laurie at some point goes, well, just don't go throw yourself at the next man. And as Carol leaves, she goes, oh, I'm off to go throw myself at the next man. And indeed she did.
Yeah.
Billy Man, whatever.
Billy Man?
Billy Man, I don't know. He's a little, but Billy. Billy was the recipient of the throw.
Poor guy.
Yes.
And but as we've discussed, the dating pool there is pretty
a little bit.
So, and then what happens with little Miss Carol?
Well, there's basketball and there's some garden talk going on, I believe. More garden talk. And there's Carol making her way out and approaching the zombie that Alice had asked Andrea to bring in when they had gone off on their shooting deal. And Rick was not too pleased to have a zombie in the territory. But they eventually put it into a place that Rick, because Alice was saying, I can study it, I can learn, maybe a cure. Coming from a person that was unable to cut somebody's leg off, I don't know how much he's going to find out. But so it's her little experiment, her little zombie experiment. So our good friend Carol goes up has a conversation with the zombie, and is like, you won't, you're my friend. You won't like these people here. They're too judgmental. And then she leans in extra close, and the zombie do what a zombie do at that point in time. Big bite in the neck.
And Carol's meat.
And that ends issue 41.
And comic Carol. Let's hope.
Yay.
Because enough. The comic Carol already.
Enough of comic Carol. Yeah, I think it. There was no good coming out of that character's arc anymore.
No, she was progressively getting crazier and creepier.
Yeah.
Not much else to be said there, I think.
Nope.
And it's just such stark contrast to the Carol on the show, whom I adore so much.
Yeah, although in the timing, in terms of when these come out versus as we're getting a bunch of these recorded, and so this is by the time this eventually makes it formally to YouTube, it's going to be a few weeks out, I expect. So we'll be disconnected to the timeline of the TV show right now. But Carol's been awful quiet. TV Carol, I mean, just hasn't had much of a chance to.
Well, at this point, Tyrese has died, and they have met
Aaron.
Aaron. Why couldn't I remember his name? Yeah, and they've met Aaron. So yeah, and she right around this time frame, she has been a little quiet, and I mean she backed up Rick. But other than that, we haven't really heard anything from her. Even when Michonne and Rick were sort of, at odds and they were trying to decide whether or not they were going to go with him, she didn't have a lot to say. She just sort of sat back and let it all play out in front of her.
Yeah. Yeah, a little Daryl support early on in an earlier episode, but that's about it. She's been quiet. So.
Yes.
So we'll see how it all pans out. But yeah, Aaron's interesting. Kind of multiple points of view on TV Aaron in terms of I totally like how the character seems close to the comic, which we will talk about later.
Yes.
And I think the actors, I like it. I really it's not like a complete carbon copy, but it's definitely it's nice. It's pretty cool. So
that's good. Yeah.
Alrighty, so just 2-issue thing. Seems to be working.
I think so. I think we're good.
If I prepare and keep my notes straight, that's a little detail. I have to work on that.
I think we're good.
Oh, it's in the range. Things occurred somewhere between the 2 issues.
Stuff happened. You got it. Yeah.
We're in the prison, right? There you go.
Are we still in the prison? Yeah.
Yeah. Big things coming.
We're good. Is there anything else you want to say about this particular? Because the prison on the show is very different from the prison in the comic. Is there anything else you want to draw contrasts or comparisons to before we go?
So it was interesting that in both they get to gardening, they get to farming to get some food, which makes a heck of a lot of sense.
Right.
But it's it's in the because it was some of the whole Farmer Rick storyline in the TV show. Rick seemed to be much more the linchpin, where Herschel was within the comic. So that part was interesting.
Yeah, and since Rick's only got one hand, having him farm, I think, would be a little more difficult in the comic as well. So it's sort of interesting, the dichotomy that has to happen there. People in the comic just losing bits left and right.
Yeah, it is not. Yeah, there's a and that, of course, that has been probably of everything the biggest ongoing departure is two-handed Rick versus one-handed Rick.
I think even Kirkman said, like, on the Talking Dead, he was saying that he's kind of sorry that he did that. I can't. It was either something I read, or he may have said it on the show, something to the effect of, like, now I have to write in people helping him all the time because he can't. There's only certain things that he can do with one hand, and so if there's anything that he could take back, that was probably it.
Yeah, because if you think about the most recent TV series show, if it was one-handed Rick having to hold baby Judith, he was trying to, I believe, mash up some acorns for Judith, which looked just delicious.
With the butt of his gun, yeah.
He'd have been a little hard pressed to take care of Judith with the one hand. So it's probably a good call, but I'm sure Andrew Lincoln appreciates it. Yeah, be kind of probably tough.
Yeah. And again, a lot of the farming too also sort of happened off season, because we came back and there were gardens established. So we're seeing sort of the comic more painfully details that process.
That's right. Yeah, we were able to watch the actual garden grow. It was like panel after panel of good. No, that. I don't have anything else. Do you have any other observations? Compare and contrast between.
No, I think that's really it because they do seem to be focusing on the garden a bit, and having people work in there fairly regularly, and they keep coming back to it. So it's definitely something they want you to pay attention to, and the story arc for that in the show is so very different, and it's literally just Rick and then Rick trying to like show Carl, and everybody just sort of lets him do his thing, and nobody's really helping him in the show. So I think that's an interesting piece there. And again, Dale as the proxy for Herschel in the show, Dale losing his leg, it changes things. And with Andrea being with Dale, it's a very big difference.
Yeah.
Because she was just sort of, Andrea was just sort of by herself and mouthy at the prison when she was there. There was no romantic relationship for her to focus on, and she also wasn't running around making, prison jorts. So.
Yeah, which had the one redeeming characteristic of as that character was written. While with her many flaws, they at least did not put in Prison Taylor because that would have been horrific. Again, Laurie Holden, awesome.
Yes,
she was fantastic. Sometimes she had to perform what she had to perform. They were going to make her do what she did. So
Andrea, maker of bad decisions.
Yes.
Is what we call her from the show.
Consistently. Yes.
Consistently bad decision making. So I think that's it. 40, 41 covered. Next, 42, 43.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds great.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
We'll be seeing you.